What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take another look at the crew of the Grand Star Alliance. You see, yesterday I came along and I showed you all of the crew and I told you they had blasters. But I didn't actually show you all the blasters. That seems a little bit rude. Ladies and gentlemen, let me fix that, shall we? Now, not all of them actually do have their own blasters, of course. We're only worried about the ones that do. Although the exception again is Arms Master Melina, who might have a blaster that interacts with him, but it is a common, it's not a special rare. It is actually a pretty good card. Gives you an amber bonus, and you attach it to anyone. And when you fight or reap, you may deal 2 damage to a creature, or attach it to Arms Master Melina. And when you attach it to Arms Master Melina, either directly or through the ability used on another creature, you deal 3 damage to a creature. He's the Arms Master, he deals damage, of course he does. But the rest of them are actually all special rares, which is kind of cool. Means that they do in fact come packaged with the relevant creature. Otherwise it'd be kind of annoying, you'd keep having Chan's Blaster without Chan, and that would be annoying. Speaking of which, Chan's Blaster. So Chan's Blaster gives you an amber bonus. I'm going to ruin the surprise, right? They all give you an amber bonus. It's the last time I'm saying it. Incidentally, they can all be attached to anyone, but when you use it, you may move it to the correct creature. So when you fight or reap, you may deal 2 damage to a creature, or attach it to Commander Chan. Now, you might notice that's the same as the beginning of Arms Master Melina. They all do the same thing. They are all, when you fight or reap, you may deal 2 damage to a creature or move it to the named person. So again, we're not going to keep going through that. But when you attach it to Chan, you may use another friendly creature. Of course, Commander Chan lets you use another friendly creature, so it's really kind of cool because now you just keep getting to do it. Downside, once it's attached to Chan, it doesn't do anything else. But Chan's letting you use friendly creatures, this then lets you use another one. I'm all in favour. Frane's Blaster, you've got the amber bonus and the usual stuff. But when you attach it to First Officer Frane, you may move amber from First Officer Frane to your pool. And it is each amber. Now this one's awesome. First Officer Frane, when you play or fight or reap, a friendly creature captures an amber. When you attach this to Frane, you move each amber from Frane to your pool. So you end up in a little bit of a game of chicken here. Because if you can get 7 amber captured, that is 7 amber you take from your opponent, you then attach the blaster, move that amber to your pool, and rather than your opponent getting the amber back when they KO First Officer Frane, you have turned capturing into stealing. Stealing is way better than capturing. You get the amber, your opponent doesn't get it back. It's wonderful. However, First Officer Frane is not exactly the beefiest creature we've ever seen. 4 power, no armor, no elusive. If you leave it too long, she's going to get destroyed and you get nothing. Garcia's Blaster. When you attach it to Sensor Chief Garcia, you steal 1 amber. Now this is lovely because remember, Garcia is already increasing the cost of your opponent forging by 2 amber. Again, I'm not going to go through the creatures in too much detail. I did that yesterday. Please check out that video if you feel so inclined. Now you're stealing an amber as well, so you gain an amber, they lose an amber, and then they've got to pay 2 more to actually forge. That's really kind of cool. Of course, we do end up in a weird situation here, where how long do you leave it? Because every time you fight or reap with a creature other than the named creature that has it, you get to deal 2 damage to a creature, whereas when you attach it to the relevant creature, you get the extra bonus. Here it is stealing an amber, but then it's literally an upgrade that sits there doing nothing. So there is a real decision to be made here in terms of how long do you leave it. It's kind of cool. At what point do you actually move it to the relevant creature? Ingram's Blaster, when you attach it to Medic Ingram, you fully heal a creature. Now this of course works great with Medic Ingram, who, when you play fight or reap, you heal 3 damage from a creature and ward it. Now you're actually taking it a step further and completely healing a creature. This one is far easier to figure out when you're going to use it. Pick your best creature. If it's damaged enough that your opponent's going to take it down next turn, this will completely heal it. And completely healing creatures is great, obviously. Khrkhar's Blaster. When you attach it to Lieutenant Khrkhar, ward Lieutenant Khrkhar. Now, warding means that you put a ward counter on, and the next time you would be damaged or destroyed, you remove the ward counter, but that's all you do. You don't actually take the damage, you don't get destroyed. Now, this is incredibly relevant because Khrkhar's got Taunt and Hazardous Free, which means your opponent cannot attack the neighbours, they've got to attack Khrkhar, but when they do, they take free damage. That's a bad thing. Here, when you ward Khrkhar, it's basically saying, look, you've got to attack me to get rid of the ward counter, except before you get rid of the ward counter, you're taking a Hazardous Free. Then all you're doing is getting rid of the ward counter. Then later, you can attack again, taking another free, and at that point, you can actually take me down. I mean, let's be clear, right? That's awkward. That's really kind of awkward. Kirby's Blaster. I told you in yesterday's video Kirby's my favourite, and not just because it's called Kirby. 1 amber, usual stuff. After you attach this blaster to come off as a Kirby, draw 2 cards. Now, it's a bit of a weird one, but once again, it actually works absolutely beautifully with come off as a Kirby. Because come off as a Kirby, when you play Fight or Reap, you may play a non-Star Alliance artifact, upgrade, or action this turn. Not creature, but anything else. Problem is, you might not have the card you want. So here, you attach it to come off as a Kirby, either directly or by attaching it to something else and moving over when you Reap or Fight. Then, you get to draw 2 cards. Then you Fight or Reap with come off as a Kirby, and you've got a greater number of cards in hand from which to choose when you're deciding what to play using come off as a Kirby. It's rather wonderful. Qincan's Blaster. When you attach it to Science Officer Qincan, you may archive a creature in play. Now, this is the one that really does nothing related to Qincan. Qincan comes along and steals an amber. After a player chooses an active house that matches no cards in play, making this a steal as well was potentially a bit too good, so you have this weird kind of effect that just archives a creature from play. Now, there is a relation here, because essentially what you do is you find a creature that is, for instance, the only untamed card in play. You then archive that creature, and then if your opponent chooses Untamed, oh no! Now they're going to have to let you steal an amber, because there's no Untamed cards in play. So it does work in that regard. What I do like here is that it reads, you may archive a creature in play, does not say friendly creature, which means that you should be able to grab one of your opponent's creatures and archive them. Yay! And finally, Wool's Blaster. When you attach it to Chief Engineer Wools, stun a creature for each upgrade on Chief Engineer Wools. Now, bearing in mind that Wools, every time you play Fight or Reap with it, you may return an upgrade or robot card from your discard pile to your hand. But we had a look at Calvin as an example yesterday. These robots are actually creatures that can turn into upgrades. So you're basically just getting back an upgrade. So what you do is you try and get multiple upgrades. At such a point as you've got multiple upgrades, you attach it to Wools, and you stun a creature for each upgrade on it. Now, the problem is you're a 2-power creature. Yes, you've got elusive. Elusive is nice, but you're still a 2-power creature. So once again, there's a bit of a game of chicken going on. You want to attach this when you've got the maximum number of upgrades attached, unless there's a point where you've got upgrades equal to the number of creatures your opponent has, then you can just stun them all. But the longer you leave it, the more likely it is that your opponent will destroy this. And if your opponent destroys it, then you end up in a very awkward situation whereby, oh no, now I've got no upgrades. and then you got to start again. You can get Officer Walls back, but then you got to reattach all the upgrades before you get Walls Blaster on, do the stunning. It gets kind of awkward. These are all special rares, like I've said. They appear with the relevant character, and they are not all created equal. But I love them, and I love the fact that you can put it on anything, get the 2 cheeky damage, and then you've got that question of, at what point do I actually pull the trigger, pun intended, and move it over to the relevant character? They're fun cards, I love them, and special rares are nice. But I'd like to know how you feel about them, so do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Keyforge and any other games that take our fancy. And do please make sure you're checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can get weekly bonus pods, you can tell me what videos to make, and if you want to support the channel, it's the best way to do so. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.